You are with Talks on the Way of Wisdom, the forum that discusses star battles in human consciousness, virtue as spiritual purity. In the hectic everyday life of the modern world, where materialism and external beauty are often put on a pedestal, we forget about the deeper spiritual values that give true meaning to our existence. Buddhist traditions remind us of the importance of inner purity and virtue, which are compared to a fragrance capable of reaching the heavens. Ancient records describe the fragrance of flowers, sandalwood, blue lotus, and jasmine. But above them all rises the fragrance of virtue. This fragrance knows no limits and leaves an imprint that transcends all physical boundaries. The theme of virtue and its invisible but tangible fragrance is highly significant because it points us to the important questions of life. What traces do we leave behind? Do our actions and words contribute to the good of the world? Or do we leave fleeting traces that disappear like the scent of a passing flower? Awareness of these questions enables us to reinvent ourselves and cultivate virtues that carry deep and eternal meaning. In this article, we will explore three key aspects of the fragrance of virtue: the symbolism of fragrances and their spiritual significance, the way of spiritual upliftment, and practices that help us cultivate virtue in our daily lives. Through awareness and application of these principles, we can build a life that leaves a mark not only on earth, but in the hearts of others. The symbolism of fragrance and flowers. Flowers have always been a symbol of beauty and transience. Their fragrance enriches our senses, but it is fleeting and often disappears before we have even fully appreciated it. In Buddhist traditions, flowers serve as a metaphor for human life and the material world, beautiful and attractive, but lacking in permanence and depth. The scent of flowers reaches a certain distance and fades, reminding us how limited our physical aspirations are. On the other hand, the fragrance of virtue, as the ancient texts tell us, is eternal and reaches to the heavens. It symbolizes the deeds and choices of man, which are based on spiritual principles and moral values. While material acquisitions are like flowers that fade, virtue stays alive and extends beyond the physical world. It reaches even to the gods and heavenly abodes, where it stays like an immeasurable fragrance. The symbolism of flowers and fragrances prompts us to rethink our priorities. Instead of seeking fleeting pleasures, we should strive to cultivate a virtue that outlasts time. This is our contribution to the world, something that cannot be destroyed or forgotten. Inspiration from nature and its transient fragrance leads us to understand that the true fragrance lies in our actions and spiritual purity. Spiritual elevation through virtue. The way to spiritual upliftment is not easy, but it is necessary to reach our true self. The person who chooses virtue creates an invisible fragrance that transcends all boundaries. This way requires awareness of our actions and their impact on the world. While sensual pleasures and material aspirations are like alluring flowers, spiritual upliftment is like a deep fragrance that stays forever. Ancient records teach us that the power of virtue lies in its ability to purify the mind and heart. Through good deeds, compassion, and awareness, we rise above the limitations of the physical world. This elevation is not only for us, but also for those around us. When one person chooses virtue, they inspire others to make the same choice. Spiritual upliftment is a process that teaches us patience and perseverance. It reminds us that true beauty lies not in what we possess, but in what we give. The fragrance of virtue is that gift that is not limited to time and space. It is a guiding light that leads us to a better and more meaningful life. Practices for cultivating virtue. Cultivating virtue requires daily practice and spiritual vigilance. It is not enough to understand the meaning of spiritual purity. We must apply it to our lives. The Buddhist tradition offers various methods for reaching this state, which include meditation, compassion, and mindful action. Meditation is an essential tool for purifying the mind and focusing on the present moment. Through it, we become aware of our thoughts and emotions and learn to control them. Compassion, on the other hand, is the practice of unconditional kindness towards others. It is the purest expression of virtue and creates an invisible fragrance that inspires others and brings peace. Mindful actions are those small decisions we make every day. Will we help someone in need? Will we choose good over personal gain? These questions shape our spiritual way and leave a mark that is far more valuable than any material goods. Cultivating virtue is like growing a flower. It requires patience, care, and perseverance. The result is a fragrance that reaches far beyond the physical world and stays in people's minds forever. Let's summarize. We live in a world that often distracts us with fleeting pleasures and transient goods. The message of ancient texts about the fragrance of virtue is a reminder of true values that outlast time. While the fragrance of flowers fades, the fragrance of good deeds remains eternal and reaches to the heavens. Our article revealed 3 key aspects of this truth: the symbolism of fragrance, the way of spiritual upliftment, and the practices that help us cultivate virtue. Understanding these principles prompts us to make conscious choices about the way we live. The fragrance of virtue is that invisible gift we leave behind. It is not measured by material possessions, but by love, compassion, and awareness. Every small act of kindness contributes to this fragrance and creates a world where people are connected through spiritual and moral values. Let us ask ourselves, what fragrance do we want to leave behind? Will it be transitory and forgotten, or eternal and inspiring? It is time to choose the way of virtue and leave a mark that will enrich the world and lift us to a higher spiritual state. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like our channel.